Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Danny, Mad Dog Morgan 33 on PlayStation, Twitter, and YouTube. Like and subscribe. Today I want to do a schedule release video in the background. I just got done playing this guy. He had the 49ers, and it went pretty well, so I decided to record it, show it to you guys while I'm predicting the schedule. I like to do this every year, just, pretty much see how the Bengals can get the best possible outcome, see what the schedule looks like, who they're playing, and how I think they could get to the Super Bowl. So let's take a look. They got the Browns, Ravens, Rams, Titans, Cardinals, Seahawks, Niners, Bills, Texans, Ravens, Steelers, Jags, Colts, Vikings, Steelers, Chiefs, Browns. 17 games. So they start off Browns, Ravens, Rams, Titans. Browns, Ravens, two tough matches, two tough teams, very physical games, and I think they'll be preparing for a physical run style matchup in preseason, and that's going to lend them well against J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb. I don't know who the Rams have at running back, but they're going to be ready for physical football week one. They know the deal. And then the fourth week, they got the Titans. So that's about as physical of an opening as you could get. The only more physical it could be is if they threw in the Steelers for the Rams or the Ravens back-to-back or something like that. So they're going to be physically tested early on. This is where you hope Jordan Battle can come in and be like a Von Bell. You hope Tyson Anderson can come on with his elite speed, his 4.3, low 4.3 40. I think it was like 4.34. You hope Nick Scott can be a, Nick the Brick. You hope to see that. Dax Hill, he flies around, throws his body. Can't wait to see him play. So it's really going to come to, we know our front. We know DJ Reader, BJ Hill, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt. We know the middle up the front is stout. We know Sam can set the edge. We have defensive ends, if Trey can't get it done, who can come in his spot and set the edge. It really comes down to, can those defensive backs make the tackle? We've seen Cheeto be physical, come up and hit. We've seen Cam Taylor-Britt come up and hit. Jordan Battle's highlight says he'll knock you on your butt. So I'm pretty confident the Bengals are going to be ready defensively to handle these guys. I have no doubts from Joe Burrow. Don't give him too many chances because he's going to score on you. So I'm just going to take 4-0 to start the season. Browns, Ravens, Rams, Titans, Bengals 4-0. And then they go Cardinals, Seahawks, Niners, Bills. So we're in the second quarter of the season, if you will. And great pass to Hayden Hurst there by me. Cardinals, I think the Cardinals is kind of like a trap game. They fired their coach. I have no idea who's coaching them. Kyler Murray's kind of turned himself into a little bit of a joke. Some of their players retired, AJ Green and JJ Watt. So they're not wanting to stick around. They're ready to go. So I think the Cardinals are going to should be an easy win. Could be a trap game. They're kind of like the Texans. They do have Kyler Murray, but I think the Bengals are too physical, too powerful, too fast. Got too much talent. And so they go to the Seahawks. Geno Smith, the highest QBR, one of the most accurate passers in the NFL last season. I think he turns back into a pumpkin. He got his money. He did great. But I don't think that he has that trait to have that continued elite success. And maybe he takes another step forward, but the dude's like 30 plus. So I think at this point he can only continue on exactly the same or start to take steps back. And I know the Hawks had a great draft. They got some better players. They got two of the best corners in the NFL, if you think about it. They got an awesome running back. They got some talent, but it really comes down to Geno Smith. They're kind of like 49ers Seahawks. They're kind of like the same. They have honestly have really good rosters. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I think they got Noah Fant. They're a good team. But I think the Bengals are also a good team. And on top of having a good team, a good solid roster, all the way, 1 to 53, we got Joe Burrow. So we got the same coaching staff that's been together for 3 seasons. A Super Bowl, 2 AFC championships, 2 divisional rounds, 2 wild card rounds. They got the playoff. They've been in the games. They got the pelts on the wall, like they like to say. So they're going to take it to the Seahawks. They take it to the 49ers, man. And people might be shocked. They're going to be all the rave. People are going to be talking about anybody beat these Bengals. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 0. And I think that's when they go to the bye. 7 and 0 at the bye. It might be the only team. Bills could be 7 and 0 at the bye. Who knows? And that's who they got next. To finish off the second quarter, the 8th game. So the Bills, the Bengals showed you. The Bills really don't have an answer. The Bills really don't have enough. They lost their best linebacker at free agency. Their all-world coverage linebacker, Terrell Edmonds. Josh Allen doesn't know how to throw a check down. He says he's going to stop trying to be Superman and stop trying to run so much. Well, he didn't even run on the Bengals except for like one play. So go ahead and stand in that pocket, Josh. We aren't worried about it. I think the Bengals, they're going to dominate the Bills again. I don't know if the Bills, if they get better up front. I don't know if they did. They better have got better up front, offensively and defensively on both lines, because the Bengals put them on ice skates and drove them back. So Bengals beat the Bills 8-0. Texans, Ravens, Steelers, Jags. Out of these 4 games, it's the Jaguars where I think that's the biggest issue for me. But I'm really not stressing it too much. Texans, they're in flux. They're going down. The Ravens, that's obviously the Ravens, Steelers, Jaguars. That could be 3 losses right there. Definitely could be. Nobody goes 20-0. Nobody wins them all. It's just simply something that isn't possible. It really can't happen. The greatest team ever was like 16-0, I think. Maybe 17 max, the Miami Dolphins. I think there were 16 wins, and that included the Super Bowl. So, teams are even better. Everybody's good. Everybody's got great players. So I guess it's going to go Bengals beat the Texans, Bengals beat the Ravens, Bengals beat the Steelers, and the Bengals beat the Jaguars. Because you know what? The Bengals have great players too. And you know what? They also have Joe Burrow. And these other teams, they don't have Joe Burrow. So the Bengals, what does that make them? 12-0. Cincinnati Bengals. All the rave, all the rage. Can't get enough. Everybody's freaking out. Bengals, Colts. Anthony Richardson is definitely the starting quarterback at this time. Bengals do struggle against rookie quarterbacks, but he is, I think he's good, but who's he throwing to? And is he good? Do I think he's good? I don't know if I actually think he's good. I don't know what to think about AR, so we'll see about that one. But for now, the Bengals are going to beat the Colts because I don't know who they got, what they got going on. Just Jonathan Taylor and a couple of linemen, And hey, we got a couple of D linemen too and a couple of linebackers. So if your thing is running the ball, I'm not really worried about you. And I think that's the Colts thing, is going to be running the ball. And so I'm not really worried about them. Vikings, I think the Vikings, they're not better than the Eagles. They're not better than the Cowboys. They're not better than, the 49ers. And I don't think they're better than the Bengals. I think the Bengals handle the Vikings no problem. Not worried about it. We got Steelers, Chiefs, Browns to end it. Yeah, man, we're the big dogs. We're gonna come punch the Steelers in the mouth again. Not really trying to play. They don't really have an answer. The Bengals are crazy. Charlie Jones is getting 500-600 yards. Andre Yosevas, he might be on the field. I don't know, but I think the Bengals offense is going crazy. Joe Burrow, full offseason, no weird surgery. I think the Bengals are just going to be the greatest show on turf, 2.7. And, people are going to be afraid to see it, afraid to play it. And then on the defense, they're going to come and they're going to hit you, and they're going to cover you, and they're going to sack you because everybody's covered. So then you got the Chiefs. Travis Kelce's a year older. You still don't have Tyreek Hill. You got a couple of fast receivers, but they're not really, the best guys. So they're good enough, but they're not all-around number one wide receivers. They've got special talents. So, of course, they do a great job utilizing everybody's talent, getting people open, but I think the Bengals, with the speed they got now, these guys aren't getting open. Patrick Mahomes is going down. They better be running the ball. I think Pacheco's too small. He's fast as all get out, but I think we're fast too, and we know how to stop the run. So Bengals beat the Chiefs, and it's Bengals-Browns. At this point, Bengals are 16-0. They're going to have to rest their players. That's just what is going to be the wise decision. Joe Burrow's not playing this game. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they're not playing. Probably Mike Hilton, Chidobe Awuzie, maybe Cam, Taylor Britt, maybe Logan Wilson, maybe DJ Reader. So there's going to be some guys, Joe Mixon, that aren't playing in this game. But I do think Trevor Siemian gives us a shot, even if he's playing with the preseason roster. So, it depends. Where are the Browns? What's their mindset? Are they beat down Browns again? Are they pushing for the playoffs? It all kind of depends on where the Browns are at this point. And, I think Trevor Siemian comes in, and I'm just going to, Trevor Siemian does us all a great favor. We love Trevor Siemian forever as he sets up the Bengals to potentially go 20-0 as he wins their 17th game in his backup starting spot in the final game of the season. And that's how it ends. The Bengals, they go 17-0. They get a first-round bye. They play, let's take a guess. They'll play somebody like the New York Jets or the Chargers, maybe the Chiefs in the divisional round, maybe the Bills. If I had to guess, the divisional round game will be against the Ravens, much as I hate to say that. And if the Bengals win that game, which would be crazy, another crazy game, they're going to end up playing the Dolphins, which is crazy to say, in the AFC Championship game. And then they'll go to the Super Bowl, and they will play against the Dallas Cowboys, maybe. But I don't think Dak Prescott, I don't know. Can Dak Prescott do it? I don't think so. Is it the Eagles again? Teams hardly ever go back-to-back. Bengals almost did. But, Is it the Detroit Lions? I like their picks, man. I like what the Detroit Lions did. I would like to say Bengals Detroit Super Bowl. I really would like to say that. Isn't the Super Bowl, is it in Detroit or something? Let me look that up. Super Bowl.
Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play.
This year, 2024.
We've hit halftime. 2 quarters down, 2 still remain.
Home of the Raiders. Okay, so it's at the Raiders. So the Raiders, based on that, who the frig is a Raiders quarterback? They lost Derek Carr. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. They got a decent team. The Bengals, that would be so sick. If they got to play the Raiders in the divisional round, that would be the easiest path. Raiders, Dolphins, and then they play the Eagles again probably. There's probably the Eagles, Detroit, NFC Championship. It's probably Bengals, Eagles, Super Bowl, Bengals win. That's the final answer. But I don't think the Raiders make the playoffs. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know what to think about those guys. They sucked last year. It could just be, I think Derek Carr is a weirdo. I don't like Derek Carr. That could have been his fault. But they lost Darren Waller. They got Michael Mayer. But, yeah, man. So the Bengals, they play, what I say, Bengals going to play the Ravens again. Then they play the Dolphins. And then they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. It's going to be tough. Bengals 20-0. So that's it. That's how the Bengals go 20-0. Worst case scenario, if you want to know that. Let's go back to the schedule.
That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be second down.
And that's what this defense is going to need to do more in the second half. Good pressure that time, forces some indecision.
Worst case scenario, Bengals, Browns, first week, Bengals, beat Browns, Ravens are dope, Bengals lose to the Ravens, prime time, Bengals beat the Rams, Bengals Titans revenge game, Bengals beat the Titans, Bengals Cardinals trap game, Cardinals might have something crazy. It's either the Cardinals or the Seahawks. That's a trap game. But, you know, I still, even in the worst case scenario, I feel confident. They beat the Cardinals, they beat the Seahawks. In the 49ers, I mean, I know they got an amazing roster top to bottom. They're an awesome team, but Bengals beat the Niners. The Bills, dude, I still, even in the worst case scenario, the Bills, and I guess the worst case scenario would be injuries, but you can't really say who's going to be injured. But with everybody being healthy for all these games, is the way I'm predicting it, and the luck doesn't go the Bengals' way, I think they're the better team, and they have more options, they're more versatile. If something's not working, they can find an answer elsewhere. I think that goes for all these games. And that's why they beat the Bills, they beat the Texans. They could lose to the Ravens again. They only have 2 losses, both to the Ravens. I did see some things from the Steelers that were a little bit concerning, but I do think they got faster on defense. Once again, you know, they beat the Steelers, the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars could beat the Bengals, I think. They lost 3 games. The Colts, not happening. Vikings, not happening. The Steelers could take 1 against the Bengals. So that's 4 losses. The Chiefs, I mean, they could beat the Bengals. That's 5 losses. The Browns beat them to end the season. That's 6 losses. The worst case scenario, the Bengals go 11-6. And then they have to play the wild card, divisional, AFC Championship, and then the Super Bowl. They still could win the Super Bowl, not as likely. In that case, I would say they were definitely playing the Ravens again in the wild card since they lost twice. But I think that means the Bengals definitely beat the Ravens in the wild card because they already lost twice. And to beat a team 3 times in a season is crazy, and it ain't happening. So the Bengals beat the Ravens on the 3rd try. Then they'll go and they'll play against probably like the Dolphins this time in the divisional. and they'll beat the Dolphins, and then the AFC Championship will be probably like um, at Jacksonville or at Buffalo, at Kansas City. I think Jacksonville's got a pretty easy path through the South. I think the South sucks, and Jacksonville is the only good team. And as long as they can, when they're out of conference games a little bit, they could end up, surprising people and being the 1 seed. So it'll be like the Titans, one of the worst 1 seeds ever. But so let's say AFC Championship game at the Jaguars. Bengals beat the Jaguars, and then they play once again the Eagles or Lions. So in this scenario, I'll say the Lions, Bengals, Super Bowl, Bengals win. That's it. 11-6, 20-0. They're either playing the Eagles or they're playing the Lions. So, as far as who I think is going to have the biggest impact on that, it's got to be the other guys allowing Jamar Chase to get open. Last year I feel like was a disappointing season for Jamar Chase based on his rookie year. And I guess it really wasn't. He had a ton of production, but he had that hip injury, so he sat out a couple games. But let's pull up Jamar Chase stats.
So after the sack, they'll come up on a still manageable 2nd and 13.
So his rookie year, 1,400 yards. His sophomore year, 1,046 yards. He went from averaging 18 yards a catch to 12 yards a catch, an 82-yard long to a 60-yard long, 13 touchdowns to 9, and so he took a little bit of a step back because he had the injury, but he also went from 81 catches to 87 catches, which is interesting. He had 6 more catches, so I think we need to find more ways to unlock Jamar Chase. We need to get him up over 100 catches. I would like to see him have 110 catches, well over 100, 115, something like that. And if we can get him going, something up, 16 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, something like, a great season from Jamar, because we have Charlie Jones, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Irv Smith Jr., and, the occasional 2 tight end, Drew Sample or Devin Asiasi. It's like we have guys, somebody's open. Joe Mixon, Chase Brown, somebody's open. Andre Yosevich. So I think as long as the line holds up, which I think it will, as long as Lyle Collins can come back, which I think he will. I think Jonah Williams will hold up at right tackle. I like Jackson Carman a lot. The dude is honestly a freak athlete. He showed you how strong he is in the Bills game. And, if it comes to, if Jackson Carman is a right tackle, well, in those games we're going to run the ball because that's what suits us best. I think that's what we do, and I think people aren't really going to be able to stop us no matter what, because Kappa, Karras, Olsen, Brown, either Collins or Williams or whoever lines up Carman at right tackle. I think we have a good run offensive line. I think we need to establish that we can run the ball. Even though the Bengals have been passing every single play ever for the past 2 seasons, I think that they need to figure out how to run the football. And if they do that, then I really have no doubt to how far and how successful they can be. So we'll see what they do. I know they're going to pass it a bunch, but they say they had good run efficiency last year. That's really what I'm looking for, is they don't have to line up in 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I'm looking for explosive, good runs that you can put on a highlight tape, not just, it's first down, so we run the ball because it's first down, so we run the ball. I'm looking for Chase Brown to show his speed. The dude apparently was clock running 4.3s. His official is like 4.43. So I can't wait to see that dude play. Yeah, man, I'm excited for the season. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. My name's Danny, Mad Dog Morgan on PlayStation, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for listening to my schedule prediction. And go Bengals.
The one touchdown, and that was all she wrote.
Almost want to do the defense chant right now, right? Defense with a couple of claps in there, but no one wants